Ayun na nga mga kababayan, dito sa video na to pag-usapan ho natin itong pinaka-latest na interview nitong si Congressman Marcoleta na kung saan lininaw ho niya kung ano ba talaga ang diwa ng gaganaping rally sa January 13, ha? Para doon sa mga kababayan ho natin, ha, huwag ho kayong magdala-dala ng kung ano-anong mga placards o tarpaulin dyan sa gaganapin na rally na yan. Kung ano lamang ang diwa na sinasabi ng INC, ang organizer ng INC, doon lang ho tayo sumunod kung gusto nating makipagpartisipa. Pero yung iba ho nating mga kasama, dadayo pa ata ng Davao para sumali o masaksiyan ng gaganaping rally ng mga INC dyan sa Davao. Pero bago yan mga kababayan, isang like at isang subscribe. Masaya na ho tayo dyan. Sa mga gusto sumali sa ating community, yung join button, andyan lang ho sa baba. Ito na ho, si Congressman Marcoleta. Panoorin ho natin to. Dito ho mga kababayan, rekta ho tayo dito sa interview nitong si Congressman Marcoleta dito sa Billionaire News Channel. Pakinggan ho natin to mga kababayan.
Attorney Karen, it's a privilege to have been invited again.
And it's a privilege to have you back here, Congressman Dante. So first, let's talk about the INC rally next Monday, January 13. What is this Rally for Peace all about?
Well, I can only tell you so much, Attorney Karen. I can base it only from initial pronouncements made. I am not privy to the organizing committee, so I think it's only a peace advocating. It's a peace. It's a rally for peace. That's all. I think the INC is also wanting to see and send a message across the nation that peace is a factor in achieving development and progress to this country.
Congressman Dante, this rally comes at a time when 3 impeachment complaints have already been filed against Vice President Sara. Is the INC politically supporting President Bongbong Marcos or Vice President Sara Duterte, or both?
There was no pronouncements made to that effect, Attorney Karen, as far as I am concerned. I think the INC is not averse to impeachment per se, provided that the processes and procedures are taken within the bounds of law. Maybe because what is happening in Congress in relation to the procedures taken so far, maybe there are questionable procedures that the INC might have observed.
But for you as a lawyer, what do you see are the questionable procedures that have been done?
Well, first of all, it all started with the budget briefing, Karen. I suppose the initial salvo was the presentation of the budget of the Office of the Vice President and even the budget of when she was then a secretary of the Department of Education. In the OBP budget, she was heavily questioned by the members of the Appropriations Committee. A scenario that was not the case with the rest of the vice presidents I have so far observed in my long time in the House of Representatives. So, to me, it was very highly unusual to question the budget briefing of the Vice President, because in the long time that I have been there, I have observed how Vice President Binay presented his budget, even Vice President Noli de Castro, and for that matter, even Vice President Leni Robredo. It was more of a formality, because I think the very basis why they were present during the presentation of their budget is the trust and confidence to the second highest position in government. But that did not happen during the time of Vice President Sara Duterte. Of course, initially when there is no quarrel yet, specifically in 2002 and 2003.
2022 and 2023.
Yes, 2023 and 2022, that was not the case. I think the budget of the Office of the Vice President was disposed in the nick of time, like 13 minutes to 20 minutes.
But based on House rules, is there really a prerogative on the part of Congress to question during a budget briefing? So I understand that there's a difference between a budget briefing and then when the budget hearing goes to plenary. So is there really, based on the rules, a prerogative to question during a budget
That was
briefing?
the kind of argument that they utilize in insisting to question the Vice President during the presentation of her budget. But she maintained that what she was presenting before the committee at that time is the 2025 budget. But most of the members were insistent in questioning the utilization of the budget in 2022 and 2023, which I think started the friction. I was trying to, of course, advise them that that was not the period with which or within which the questions on the utilization of budget must be asked, because she was still presenting, I think, the budget. But they were so eager to question the Vice President, and I can almost say that the intention was different. I think the intention was to embarrass the Vice President.
Do you think that the investigations that were conducted in Congress are part of a demolition job?
Yes, I can say that safely because, as I said, why would the Office of the Vice President subjected to a barrage of questions when that is not the very time to do so? Like if they convert it into an inquiry in aid of legislation, that is a different matter altogether. This is only a budget presentation. Why would you isolate Vice President Sara Duterte from the other Vice President who did not experience such kind of treatment when their budget were presented respectively?
Well, Congressman Dante, when this rift occurred in the UNI team, would you know if the INC took a side between President Bongbong Marcos and Vice President Sara?
What do you mean, took aside?
If they favored anyone among those two when there was already a rift?
No, the INC does not take side.
Okay.
That is the categorical answer there.
So-
The INC would not take side. The INC would like to see people like the Vice President and the President to work together. That is the essence of good government.
So for the rally on Monday, January 13, that is also the essence. Is it a call for both sides to unify and also the Filipino people to unify?
I believe so, because the subject matter is about peace. Because INC believes that peace can only be achieved by uniting our people, and this unity can be best demonstrated by our leaders.
And what can we expect on Monday for this rally? Is it open to other people or is it only for INC members?
I think the rally does not preclude the participation of other interested citizens, provided, of course, they will not make any noise. This is a peace rally in the first place.
Well, there are other people that
Kagaya ho natin ng mga sinabi natin doon sa mga nauna ho nating video, hindi ka pwedeng pumunta diyan kasi sila nag-organisa, sila kung ano lang yung panawagan ng INC na hindi ko alam kung suportahan yung tayo nitong si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na itigil lang impeachment o na lang talaga solo peace rally na lang talaga siya. Hindi medyo ho tayo, kailangan pa ho natin panoorin itong video na to ni Cong Marcoleta from itigil ang impeachment dito kay VP Sara, ngayon peace rally na lang talaga kasi hindi na ho nababanggit yung sinasabi nitong si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na itigil kasi yun ang pinanggalingan ng ano na yan, ng rally na yan pagsuporta sa panawagan ni President Bongbong Marcos na itigil ang impeachment kay VP Sara. Sabagay, pagka na-impeach nga naman, magkakagulo. Kaya kailangan manawagan ng for peace, rally for peace ng mga kababayan nating INC. Effects lang ho yun pero hindi ho natin pinagtatawanan. Kumbaga ano lang yan, automatic na ho yung kamay natin.
Also, according to some statements, will join the rally, but some of them intend to also conduct protests against the current administration. So how will INC prevent that from happening, from other interests that are not aligned with calling for peace to be part of this rally?
First of all, I think we should call out these groups of people who intend to do their own rallies but intend to make protest of whatever type. I don't think this is proper for them to do. This is a peace rally initiated by the church, and if they wanted to join, I think they should join peacefully and not to do their thing other than what was intended for by the INC.
And can you tell us where the venue is? Is it at the Wasang Bonifacio or the Quirino Grandstand?
I think by recent development and from the initial information I obtained, I think it will be held in the Quirino Grandstand and other designated places in the country.
And all over the Philippines, saan po yung mga ibang areas where there will be a rally on the same day?
I am not sure of the places designated, but what I know, there are more than 10 other places that will be, I think, assigned for the members and other groups to assemble.
So this would be from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, really nationwide?
Yes, that was the pronouncement made earlier.
And do you know how many people are expected to attend?
I hope I can tell you. I would just surmise that it should be a huge rally.
It's going to be huge. So for people that are going to be in the area of Quirino Grandstand, should they avoid it for traffic if they're not part of the rally?
I think so. I think for convenience of everyone, considering that it might be, and I think it could be a huge and mammoth rally, people who are not part of that event should shy away from the place.
Do you know what time it will start and what time it will end?
Well, again, based on certain pronouncements, I think it will start, well, in the morning there were maybe some programs, but the actual program might start in the afternoon, maybe 3 or 4 o'clock.
So whole day po talaga siya.
Yes.
And are
that was
there...
the initial information that I obtained. Other than that, I don't know what will happen.
Are there any prominent personalities that have been invited to be speakers or to be part of the program?
I don't know about that, Karen. I'm sorry.
Any political figures? Would you
Again,
know?
I wouldn't know. I was not told about it.
Okay, so it's really the organizing committee
Yes,
that's planning all of this.
I think it's up to them. It's only Friday. Maybe some kind of development might happen later. I don't know.
During this weekend. And are
Yes.
you going to be there, Congressman Dante?
I will be there because I am a member.
As an INC member,
Yes.
you're also supporting the call for peace.
Of course.
So in your opinion po, kanina you gave your own insights as to what you found wrong with the way things were handled in Congress last year. But when you attend this call for peace, what changes do you want to see in Congress?
I want Congress to follow our own procedures. After all, it was Congress who developed and enacted those procedures, like when we deliver or avail of our privilege hour. there is a specific rule that if the subject matter of your privileged speech is connected with the pending bill already in the committee or even in the plenary proper, that's a violation of the rules. You cannot deliver a privileged speech if that is the case.
Can you give an example as to when this rule was violated at some point last year?
For example, I think the budget bill was already filed as early as August 7 or August 4, I'm not sure about it, but it is August of 2024. And in the first week of September, a representative from Manila, delivered a privileged speech, which is also related to the budget. Can you imagine how it was given due course? I think the majority leader knows perfectly that that is illegal. That's not supposed to have been allowed. But it was still referred to the Rules Committee, and the Rules Committee referred it to the Good Government Committee.
What was the substance of that privileged speech?
Well, it was about the budget. That's why it is related to the General Appropriations Bill. In other words, if the subject matter is already related to that bill, no one should take a stand on it because it's already prohibited by our laws.
Well, Kong Dante, here in the Philippines, usually if you have a privileged speech, there's something that's also motivating it on a political side. So was it directed towards any specific person?
It was directed to the Vice President because initially she was not she was not keen in answering several questions, barrage of questions asked by the members of the Appropriations Committee, because at that time she thought that she is being embarrassed and attacked left and right. And so that representative who took the privileged hour again stood for that very purpose. And so that particular privileged speech was made a material for the Good Government Committee to notify the Vice President that she should appear before that committee.
So that's what
it was
triggered
made a material for the Vice President to appear herself before a committee of the House of Representatives.
And that's what triggered also having to subpoena the Vice President.
Yes, that's why she was made to appear. And secondly, I was surprised why the Committee on Good Government took a simple manifestation seriously, because one of the members of the Appropriations Committee at the time manifested that a separate hearing or inquiry be made in relation to the questions being asked in the Department of, in the budget of the DepEd. I was surprised why the committee took it as a motu proprio initiative. I said that it cannot be motu proprio because it came from a manifestation of one of us. A motu proprio is something that should be initiated itself by the committee, not anyone else.
Some external,
It should not have been taken from any request or from any action from any other source but the committee itself.
Well, you have been in Congress for many years. Is this the first time that you were seeing a lot of rules being disregarded?
Yes, that was the first. And I said,
Ano ho talaga itong pamumuno nitong si Tambaluslos diyan sa House of Representatives, nagdulot ho ng kasiraan diyan sa institution na yan. Sana wala nang kalaban kasi si Tamba, panigurado sa 20th Congress siya pa rin ang speaker diyan, no? Wala. Sino ba maglalakas ng loob na papalit sa kanya diyan sa pwesto niya na yan? Kung meron mang papalit diyan sa kanya, ay ano lang 'yun, kunwarian lang yun, pero siya pa rin hahawak dyan sa House of Representatives. Yun ang sigurado ho natin.
Why is it that when I delivered a full privilege speech on the same subject matter, questioning some of the anomalous transactions of the DepEd during the last administration, which involved something like 3 billion pesos involving the purchase of computers and modules, etc., that speech was not even referred to any committee. But a manifestation, a very simple manifestation, was taken as a motu proprio initiative by the committee. So you can see how things are
disparity of
developed.
the
I mean,
treatment.
Yes, the treatment that you get from no less than your colleagues in the House of Representatives.
And Congressman Dante, going back to the INC rally, so what does the INC rally hope to achieve?
I think it hopes to achieve it hopes that the message get across the whole nation. More specifically, our officials in government, that the direction that must be taken is towards the path of peace, because we cannot, I think, develop and prosper as a nation if what is happening today is more of a quarrel between the two highest positions of government, including, of course, the leadership of the House of Representatives.
And will that path of peace include not pursuing an impeachment?
That might be one of those things that came into mind why this rally was developed in the first place, because it will still be within the context of achieving peace. You cannot, of course, achieve peace if there is a move, for example, to remove the vice president. This is a very crucial matter in the life of a nation. So I think this is one of the things that was factored in the decision to conduct a huge rally such as this.
And assuming that Congress will proceed to impeach Vice President Sara despite calls of President Bongbong Marcos not to impeach, and despite the INC rally for peace, will the INC block vote manifest during the May 2025 election? But before you answer that question, Congressman Dante, Congressman Dante, assuming that Congress will proceed to impeach Vice President Sara Duterte despite PBBM's call and the INC rally for peace, will the INC block vote manifest during the May 2025 election?
They wouldn't know. It might. Of course, the INC would decide on what will happen next.
So talagang it depends on the leadership, or how does it work internally with the INC?
Kasi ang alam ng INC, as you have already indicated, even the President said that, this impeachment thing will not do any good to any one poor Filipino. Ang sabi niya, it will only dissuade you from tackling the several problems that our country faces. Pero, ayun nga, sabi pa niya, if I can recall right, sabi niya, it's a tempest in a teapot. Meaning to say, it's so small thing that she's being bloated into, proportion. So if the House of Representatives will continue to do this, then people might say, why there is no congruence now between what the President would like to see and the actions being taken by the House of Representatives. So not only the INC would perceive that, I think the entire population will see that there is no good working relations between the executive and the legislative, which is something that should not happen in this country.
And in your experience, does INC really do block voting? Do you tend to vote as a group?
It's not called block voting. It's a unity vote. Kasi unity is an essential character of the church. In everything we do, not only voting, but in any action or any undertaking that the church will have, unity is always the factor. So even in voting, where we judge how people should be selected, the ANC would advocate for a unified voting.
Well, Congressman Dante, you're an insider in terms of being part of the House of Representatives. Would you know if there are really any plans to impeach? Has this been already part of the agenda for when Congress resumes its sessions? Because there are 3 pending impeachment complaints that have been filed.
Not only 3, Attorney Karen, I think there is already a 4th one being worked out.
Hindi pa ho talaga nakontento itong mga congressman na to. Tama nga ho yung suspecha nitong mga sumusubaybay dito sa ano na to, dito sa kaganapan na to, dito sa impeachment ni VP Sara. Pagmumukhain ho nila na napakaraming naghahain ng impeachment para mapakita, no, tingnan nyo naman yan. Napakaraming gusto mag-impeach kay VP Sara. Talagang meron siyang inabag. Yun ang gusto nilang pakita dito, mga kababayan. Pero ang bottom line dito, puro kasinungalingan ho yan, mga kababayan. No? Hindi pa tapos. Ang COA, umaastaho na parang COA ang House of Representatives. Tignan ho natin ang mangyayari sa Lunes. Kasi nagpahayag na si Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na itigil yung impeachment. Nagsalita na rin ho ang napaka-impluensya at napaka-makapangyarihang religious group na INC, na sinusuportahan nila ang panawagan ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos na itigil yung impeachment. Pero imbis na itigil nitong mga walagyang congressman na to, ang dating parang tinutuya ho nila yung INC na pinapatigil nyo. Sige, meron pang isa. Pagkatapos ng isa, meron pang isa. Ngayon meron ng pang-4 na tinatrabaho.
And I think there is also a move to grasp it by probably being able to get 1/3 signatures. And if that happens, of course, that could be an express train, because by getting an outright 106 signatures, that would bypass deliberations in the Justice Committee for the determination of form and substance. I think the impeachment, with the articles of impeachment, will be transmitted right away to the Senate. That's a possibility. I do not know what will.
At yung possibility na ho na yun, sa tingin natin, ano na yan, maliwanag pa sa sikat ng araw. Talagang sa mga susunod na buwan, pag-uusapan ho yung impeachment na yan. Mapupunta ho sa Senado yan. Sa tingin ho natin, alam na rin ang pamunuan ng INC na mangyayari yan. Na talagang wala yung nangyayari. Hindi naman ho kasi mangyayari yung mga yan kung walang basbas nitong Malacanang. Yung ano yan, naglalaro lang ho sila ng good cop, bad cop, pero bad cop ho silang lahat. Yung mga taga Malacanang, yung mga taga House of Representatives, wala ho tayong ang ano lang natin dito, ibulgar yung mga kabalbalan na yan na nangyayari ngayon sa ating bansa. Pero suportahan pa rin natin yung yung panawagan para sa kapayapaan, Rally for Peace, national nationwide Rally for Peace ng mga kababayan nating INC. At least, di ba, kahit pa paano meron nagsasalita.
Will happen to the rest of the other.
At isa pa ho, mga kababayan, para doon sa mga vlogger na nagsasabi na inaangkin ng mga DDS vlogger yaang rally na yan, National Peace Rally ng INC, wala hong nang aangkin yan. Tayo ho dito sa PH Update, sa mga nakapanood sa atin nung una pa, sinasabi natin at kung maaari, kailangan pang magpaalam sa pamunuan ng INC kung gustong makipagpartisipa dyan. Kasi sila ang organizer, sila ang may say, sila ang may kumpas kung paano tatakbo yaang rally na yan. Hindi ho yung dadating ka lang doon tapos kung ano-anong placards ang dala mo. kung ano lang, peace rally lang, peace rally lang. Wala tayong magagawa sa sila ho ang organizer, kung ano ho ang gusto nilang takbuhan ng rally, pero makikipagpartisipa pa rin ho tayo kasi panawagan yan para sa kapayapaan. Pagka talaga inimpeach na si VP Sara, ang sigurado ho dito, magkakagulo ang Pilipinas. Magkakagulo ho. Ngayon pa lang ho sinasabi na natin, magkakagulo ang Pilipinas pagka inimpeach ho nila itong si Vice President Sara Duterte. Sa tingin niyo ho ba mga kababayan, ganun-ganun na lang tatanggapin ng 31 million nang bumoto kay VP Sara yung impeachment na yan? Malabo ho yun mga kababayan.
Impeachment complaints so far filed in the House.
But do you think it is still possible in terms of just logistically? Because we only have a few months left before the campaign period starts. So people in Congress and also in Senate will be busy campaigning.
Yeah, I think it's a tough thing for the House to undertake, given the election that will is forthcoming, and of course, some, if not most, of the members in the Senate will also be campaigning. I think 7 of them will be out to campaign. I would not see the actual possibility of impeachment being initiated, but we cannot say what will
Pwedeng
happen to
kayanin.
this.
Because I had as a guest before Congresswoman Geraldine Roman, and she said that it is tough, but she said if there's a will, there's a way. So you think pwedeng kayanin ng Congress na i-fast track?
I don't know if the Congress has the will, as far as I'm concerned. And if they have the will, maybe they can find a way.
Well, Congressman Dante, looking back in 2024, there were several allies of former President Duterte and Vice President Sara, or perceived allies, that were stripped of memberships in committees. You were also stripped of membership in several committees. Can you give us an update as to where are you now in terms of committee memberships? Were those restored, or yung mga natanggal po wala pa rin?
I was stripped of my membership in all the committees. Energy, public accounts, how else? There are so many, I think 5 committees.
And all of them tanggal po kayo?
There was no explanation as to why I was bolted out as a member in those committees. Even the Good Government Committee, I was stripped of my membership. And also my membership in the Commission on Appointments, a body which has nothing to do with my work in the House of Representatives. I was also removed as a member of that
Would you know why
commission.
you were removed?
It's because I was trying to remind them about our tradition, like one of which is the tradition that we never question the office of the Vice President at the time when the budget is being presented before the Appropriations Committee. When I observed that since 2004 until today, I was surprised why that tradition was no longer being respected. So I raised the question if we are setting aside that tradition. And if they are intending to set aside that tradition, if that Appropriations Committee is authorized to do so.
But is that part of the rules? Like, is that a tradition, a rule in the House that should really prevail?
Because they are time-honored traditions. So I need to be clarified as to whether the tradition has been removed or set aside. And if the Appropriations Committee is authorized to do so, unfortunately...
So you were raising it more as to be clarified whether that tradition still stands,
Yes.
not necessarily to side or protect VP Sara.
Precisely. And so I said, those are the 2 questions that you need to answer. And the
Ayun na nga mga kababayan, dito na ho natin tatapusin ang ating reaction video kaugnay dyan sa pinaka-latest na interview na yan, itong si Congressman Rodante Marcoleta. Suportado po natin, yung ano na yan, yung rally na yan ng National Peace Rally ng INC. At nagpapasalamat po tayo sa kanila dahil kahit papaano merong nagsasalita sa mga kaganapan ngayon sa ating bansa. So Luis, maraming salamat po sa pag-support sa PH Update. Linawin ko lang ha, noon pa lang unang lumabas yung balita na yan, walang DDS na umaangkin diyan sa rally na yan ng INC. Ang atin ho dito, lagi natin sinasabi, kung gustong sumali, makipag-coordinate, huwag magdala ng kung ano-anong mga placards, tarpaulin, dahil kailangan natin irespeto dahil sila organizer, sila ang sila ang kumbaga titimon ng rally na yan. Pero tingnan ho natin kung ano mangyayari sa Lunes. As always, maraming salamat ho sa pag-support sa PH Update. Mahalin ho natin ng Pilipinas.